Revelation 9, verse 13 down to 21. Giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai B'Shem Rakakwadash. This is pretty much basic to the ones of you that been in this truth for a number of years. But there's newer people that come in. And then this is good also for the ones of you that have been in this for many years that have gone through this. And the reason why I'm going through this book in this chapter is because there was a statement made by Vocab that I did a video on when he was on, he was a guest on Sarnetta's show, and he was talking about GMS, and he went on this rant about how GMS, they're not really scriptural because they teach that the MOTB is the chip pursuant to Revelation in the 13th chapter. He said a couple of things, but one of the things that he said was, Vocab said that Revelation 9 is talking about missiles. And I believe they teach that they don't understand the prophetic scriptures anyway. But I believe you would have to ask him, what does that mean? The 200,000. Now I know that there's certain. I mean, you can go to the Interpreter's Bible, or you can go to put in Revelation 9, whatever the key verse is the 16th verse. And I've heard years ago certain evangelists, preachers, mainly Edomites, they have said that it's talking about the Chinese and invading the United States with troops, because the Chinese you have over 1 billion people in China, and how many Chinese are scattered throughout the planet? Anyway, now if you go to the blue letter, it says at the heading above Revelation 9 verse 13, it says the Sixth Trumpet Army from the East. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High. That simply means that the Lord put out the order to make these things happen, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So you should keep your eyes on the Middle East. You should keep your eyes on Iraq, Iran, Syria, Assyria, the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, Saudi Arabia, or as in Genesis, Havilah. Keep your eyes on the news and keep your eyes on the Middle East, because all these world military forces are going to converge in the Levant. Look that up. It says, 14 verse, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So we know that it's talking about the actual river Euphrates. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Look up the word Euphrates. Euphrates, the good and abounding river. That's what they say it means. Sometimes these people go off. I got to look into the word more deeper. A large, famous river. Now, the Euphrates is mentioned in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. A large, famous river which raises the mountains of Armenia, major, flows to Assyria, Syria, Mesopotamia, and the city of Babylon. And I pretty much mentioned all these nations. So those surrounding nations are part of the Levant, and empties into the Gulf of Persia, the Persian Gulf. I did mention the Persian Gulf. So that's where that hot spot is going to be. That's where the War of Armageddon is going to kick off. And ultimately, Babylon the Great will be destroyed, as we've been teaching. Verse, and the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour. And there's also another reference. Let me go back. There's also another reference in Revelation 16. You got to know these prophecies. Okay. Revelation 9 verse 14 and Revelation 16 verse 12. And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Let me read on. 13th verse. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast. And we know who the dragon is, and we know who the beast is. And out of the mouth of the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic institution and all the daughter churches. But the main church is the Roman Catholic Church. So the Roman Catholic Church plays a part in the whole scheme of things, but the Roman Catholic Church is not Babylon the Great. The Roman Catholic Church is not the woman that sitteth upon the scarlet-colored beast. So if you're teaching that, you're going off. 14th verse, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, and Esau's miracles is his technology, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the Most High Almighty. And that place is the area of the Euphrates. You can say smack dab in the middle of the Levant, or within the Levant, within the Fertile Crescent. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth, and that's us. We're watching. We're watching. We watch the news. We watch these videos. We put videos based upon situations that lead to the destruction of this system. It said, behold, I come as a thief. Now, who is he coming as a thief to? He's coming as a thief to the ones that don't know. A thief comes when you least expect it, when you're not in the house, when you sleep, dead sleep. An embezzler, a pilferer. The name is transferred to false teachers who do not care to instruct men. That applies to a lot of you Israelites out there. A lot of you guys just know you're Israelites and you're not instructing men. See, we here at that's why GMS name keeps coming up, because we go into the scriptures. But a lot of you guys are on hiatus. You took your seasonal Israelites. You took the winter off, and you started maybe a month ago, sometime in October, when it gets nice, spring comes in, then you out there on the streets with your unity camps. It said, but abuse their confidence for their own gain. Revelation 16 verse 14 again. 15. Let's go to the 15th verse. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. What does it mean by keeping your garments? This truth that you have, wear it as a garment. Lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Walking naked meaning you're not teaching this truth. You receive this truth and you take breaks. You do a disappearing act. A lot of you guys do that. A lot of you guys do that. You guys do a disappearing act. We don't see you for X amount of years, and then all of a sudden you pop back up when all hell is getting ready to break loose. You are going to be the guys that's going to be found naked. Lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So let's go back to Revelation 9. Verse 15. Revelation 9, verse 15. And the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. The third part of men represents Esau. And the number of the army of the horsemen were two. And the horsemen are not horses. They're not men on horses. They're not angels. They're missiles. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, 200 million. And the 200 million represent the nuclear warhead. You know, you have so many missiles, ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. You have the delivery system, and you have what's called the head or the cone. And then once the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, goes from one end of the earth to the other, the rocket did its part, the delivery system, and the cone or the head opens up, and there's missiles within there, whether it be 2,000, whether it be 5,000, whether it be 100. So John knew it was 200,000 because it said, 16th verse, and I heard the number of them. So an angel, a spirit, said there are 200,000. That's he didn't know what that was. There's a precept that just came to mind. Oh, I was reading it earlier. Let me go to this real quick. I was going through Second Esdras. Second Esdras 16 verse 7. And this is going to show you that those arrows in Second Esdras 16, it speaks of the missiles as being arrows. And you're going to see that those arrows are actually missiles. It says, 7th verse, may one turn away the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. What are the modern arrows? The missiles. There was a movie came out years ago with John Travolta and I believe Christian Slater. The title of the movie was Broken Arrow, and Broken Arrow in military terms mean a stolen missile. You have a missile system called a Tomahawk missile. Ain't a Tomahawk. And it's paying homage to Gad because they used Tomahawks and they were experts at Tomahawks. So you had a missile called a Tomahawk missile. So arrows in the scriptures prophetically are these missiles. It said, the mighty Lord sendeth the plague. And who is he that can drive them away? You can't drive away those missiles. It tells you in Nahum, it speaks about the defense system of Esau. I'm not going to go into it because I'm trying to go out to make a couple of shekels. It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He that casts lightnings, and he shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Yahweh shall threaten, and who shall not be beaten to powder at his presence? That's also in Ezekiel. I believe that's Ezekiel 38 or 39, where it speaks about the Lord being in the presence of the missiles. He says in Hebrews that he's a consuming fire. So those missiles are not going to miss because the Most High Spirit is going to be in those missiles to guide those missiles. Yahweh shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Now, a couple of verses up, it spoke about arrows. Now it's talking about being beaten to powder. What beat you in the powder? The radiation. When these missiles hit ground zero, it said the earth quaketh. Now, what arrow do you know? What 1 million arrows do you know that can be shot and make the earth quake? It ain't talking about actual arrows. That's an ostrich, inside joke. It said the earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea. We can also go to Isaiah the 24th chapter. See the scriptures. This is why Esau can't get these prophetic breakdowns. They'll make shit up. The sea rises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, and that's also in Ezekiel. Also, I believe I'm almost positive it's either Ezekiel 38 or Ezekiel 39. Somebody just put it in, please. I'm not going to go to it. before the Lord, Yahweh, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Who's bending the bow? The Most High. This is prophetically speaking. You know, when Jake talks in a prophetic manner. They'll say things that Esau, what do you mean by that? You know, I'm going to hop in my whip. Go get some chow and check out a flick. You know? I'm getting ready to pick up my earth. You know, I'm getting ready to pick up my rib. I'm getting ready to pick up my red bone, my yellow bone, or red bone. It says, so we speak that way, and that's how the Most High speaks. This is why Esau can't get it. It says, for strong is his right hand. Whose right hand? The Most High's right hand, that bendeth the bow. What is the bow? The silo. That's in Job, the 20th chapter. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. What does it mean by the ends of the earth? One side of the earth to the other side of the earth. ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Meaning they go up and outside of the atmosphere, the ozone layer. They go into outer space, and then they come back down and hit its targets, because these missiles are guided. This is also in Joel, the 2nd chapter, which High Priest Ariah used to teach, that those are Jake's busting into Esau's windows. No, it's talking about the missiles. And the windows is talking about the ozone layer, the atmosphere. 15 verse. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Go back to Isaiah 24. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward, even so the plagues. Wait a minute. So what are the plagues? Missiles are plagues. This is the plague that shall go against every one that came against Jerusalem or the Israelites. Zechariah 14 and 12. So those missiles are a plague. Also a pestilence in Psalm 91. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Woe is me. This is Ezra saying. He's seeing this, just like John saw those revelations, and Daniel saw those revelations. And said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because he was in there, he was standing there. So he saw this is coming. He said, man, oh my goodness, am I going to get delivered? It was a terrible and a dreadful day. A horrible and a terrible and a dreadful inside joke. 18 verse, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. Who's the powers? Esau. It says the beginning of evils. Evils mean bad time or bad times. That shall, what shall I do when these evils shall come? So he said, where am I going to go? This is Ezra speaking. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to hide? Well, you're going to be delivered. Behold, famines and plagues, tribulation and anguish are set as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So now this is going backwards. This is before. So now we're going back. Because once the missile is shot, it's going to destroy this place. But right before this place is destroyed, you're going to deal with this starvation. It says, behold, 21st verse, behold, victuals shall be good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think to themselves, think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Now that's talking about you have a hyperinflation, then you have deflation. You have prices going up, and then you got prices coming down. Then you got prices going up, you got prices going down. Hyperinflation, inflation, and deflation. You know, when you raise the price of gas, people don't go drive their cars. You know, they go to places, they don't drive their cars. So you have a surplus of gas. And then if the prices are forced down, that's economics. And there's a school of economics, philosophy of economics. One of them is called Keynesian economics. If you ever listen to this guy Peter Schiff, he goes in when it comes to the economic. I watch a lot of economic videos dealing with the economy. And economy just means managing the house. That's all it means. So now let's go back to Revelation 9, 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. So the number of them are the nuclear warheads. It says, and remember, these ICBMs been built up since the 60s, maybe even the 50s. It says, and thus I saw the horses, and they have yet to use. They tested some of these missiles, but they have yet to test a ICBM. You know, going from maybe Russia to the U.S. or going from China to the U.S. It said, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, those represent the missiles, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. It's not talking about angels, it's talking about missiles. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of the mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Now, can a lion breathe fire? No. So it's not talking about a head of a lion. It's talking about the nuclear warhead, the multiple warheads. That's why this is going to take place inside of an hour. Zechariah 14 and 12. Even Hal Lindsey in the movie The Late Great Planet Earth, you can watch that movie on YouTube. He quoted that. That's the first time I heard that scripture. Zechariah 14 and 12. And he said those are talking about missiles. I forget exactly how he put it, but watch the movie. It said, and I saw that movie as a young man because I was always into the scriptures. or just like Apostle Gabar, he was always into the scriptures. And some of you brothers were never in the scriptures, but I was always connected to the scriptures, especially the prophetic parts of the scriptures. It says 18 verse, by these three was the third part of man killed, represent Esau's system. But that meaning third part of man, you got the sons of men, you got the sons of the power, and you got the sons of the wicked. The sons of the wicked represent a third part of man. By the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths, poetically speaking. For their power is in their mouth, which is a nuclear warhead that contains multiple warheads, and in their tails. The tails represent the delivery system, which is the rocket. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. They do more than hurt, they kill. And the rest of the men, and we read this in 2 16, how they didn't want to repent, they kept being wicked. It said, and the rest of the men which were not killed, meaning you had Edomites and other nations that are scattered throughout the planet, because there's going to be certain places that are not going to be touched or partially touched. So where are we going to get our slave from? Where are we going to get our slave from? We're going to get them scattered throughout the other parts of the earth. And they're going to try to fight us, and they're going to realize that they're fighting a losing battle. Similar to the movie, another movie you can watch is, what's the damn movie? Anyway, I'll put it in the description box. Anyway, I'm going to say Shalom.